What's going on, guys? Scar coming at you with another Magic the Gathering video. In today's video, we diving into a deck that was submitted by Muffin in another video in my historic best meta decks that were currently in historic. That was about, I think, a couple weeks ago. I'm not really sure on how relevant that video is now after we've gone through the weekend of the weekend tour thing, that the day one day two thing, but he submitted me a green Tron aggro kind of style deck that kind of works on trying to ramp up into playing your colorless planeswalkers. Majority of the deck is colorless. There's like a couple, you know, mono green cards in the deck like Nissa and Llanowar Elves, but overall the deck is a pretty straightforward. Let's just try to ramp up as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and try to get to our Ugin and kind of shut the game down for our opponent. So overall, from my experience, I mean, I haven't really tweaked too much with the deck. I just kind of kept it straightforward. The games have gone pretty well. I played and messed around with the ranked ladder, and I also did some historic events, just because there's really, from what I'm aware of, I don't really think there's actually a historic just general play queue. So there is that, but overall, I mean, it's not too bad. I don't really know the format enough to kind of make my own tweaks, because I'll be honest, I don't really play a lot of historic. A lot of my deck videos are more focused on standard, but you know, just even with me still trying to figure out what I want to kind of play for the month of August in like the new meta that kind of got reshaped from the recent bans that just happened this past Monday, which I just made a video about, and how the meta has kind of shifted a little bit. It looks like it's very aggressive, and from what I'm seeing people complain about, it's definitely very, you know, mono green and mono red heavy at the moment. So right now I'm kind of letting it kind of settle and kind of see what kind of comes out, and then I'll try to figure out what deck I kind of want to play and kind of, you know, make my run in the ranked ladder. I don't really know where I want to go. I personally, you know, going mythic and all that stuff doesn't really matter to me. You know, just my big thing is just to have fun playing the game. But enough said with that, guys. If you like this video, hit that like button. But let's dive into the deck and let's see how this all works out. All right, so here is the mono green list. I mean, it is mono green, but as you can see, there is a bunch of colorless in here, just because the benefit of playing pretty much a more colorless centric deck, you kind of benefit from, like, even if you Ugin Spirit Dragon wipe the board, your opponent really, you don't really lose too much in this sense. And we have some creative things that you can play in more historic sense, just because they're not available currently in standard. But overall, the ramp package is pretty straightforward, as you would probably see even in standard. We're playing Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Elves is probably the one thing that's different, but we're playing Llanowar Elves, we're playing Mind Stones, we're playing Cultivates, playing the Llanowar Visionary, and we have a couple things that maybe make things a little bit cheaper. But overall, the deck is pretty straightforward when it's trying to do. Like, we're just trying to ramp up into Ugin in the sense, and we're also playing things like Planner Celebration, which is actually pretty interesting here, just in the sense that it actually allows us to go ahead and proliferate things, you know, giving things additional counters, which is pretty crazy. So you Nissa, you know, who shakes the world to land, that has 3+1/+1 counters on it, and you proliferate 4 times, and now that lands a 7/7 vigilance creature, which is pretty cool. But you know, there's some cool things that you can do here. We also play Karn the Great Creator, so we do have a wish board for Karn, which is pretty artifact centric, and it kind of has some utilities there to kind of get things into your hand that kind of help you kind of win the game if you get into the late game where you have complete control. So to start off, we're going to just play 2 Orbital Grazers, just, you know, for that land ramp. You know, him having the ability to add an additional land into the battlefield for 1 mana is a pretty solid, and a 0/3 blocker is pretty solid, with the meta kind of being a little bit more on the aggressive side with the current decks. So there's that. Next card up is the Llanowar Elves. It's a 1 mana 1/1. You can tap it, add green mana, so on turn 2 you can play a 3 cost, cultivate, you know, play a bunch of various things. The next card up is we got Kenris Transformation, which pretty much what it does here, it enchants target creature, enchanted creature loses all abilities, and it's a green elf creature, and base power and toughness of 3/3. So what this here is, you can take something like Razor. You can always play Kenrith's Transformation. If your opponent's playing something like crazy, you can always make it a 3/3 green elk instead. But really here we're just using it for ourselves to kind of give us a little pump benefit in that sense. Next card up is the Mind Stone. It's a 1/2 colorless. You can tap it, add a colorless, or you can tap 1, tap it, and sacrifice it to draw a card, which would be very good in the late game if we're really digging for something, maybe trying to dig for an Ugin, or just another card is always good. But early in the game, having that ability to give that additional colorless mana is great for only 2 mana, which is actually very good. Combine that with the other Ugin, the Enfeeble, it now actually is a 0 cost artifact in that sense, so you can actually then play for free, which is also good. Then we got Cultivate. It's a 3 cost sorcery spell. Allows you to search your deck up for 2 basics, added 1 to your hand, 1 onto the battlefield tapped. We only play 20 forests, so pretty much we just hit a forest, add it to the battlefield, which is always good. Llanowar Visionary, it's a cool little guy that, you know, 3 mana, 2/2. You can, when he enters the battlefield, draw a card, and then on top of it, you tap him to add a green mana. Definitely a good card utility to get additional draw and the ability to add mana later to help you ramp up a little bit better. 2 Karn the Great Creators, allowing us to look at our wish board. Allows our opponents doesn't allow our opponents to actually activate any of their abilities of artifacts they control, which is good because, you know, Rakdos is actually still in the format because Cat wasn't banned here, so Rakdos decks kind of get slowed down because then they can't activate Oven to then, you know, sacrifice their Cat or sacrifice anything. And then we can +1 make an artifact creature equals those power and toughness equals convert mana cost, which is something we're not really using, but the -2 we can use to use the wish board and look for something that we may need to kind of help out the situation that's going on. Then we play 2 Solemn, the Simulacrums, another thing here, you know, help us ramp up a little bit, helps us search for the deck for a basic land card, put it into battlefield tapped, gives us a blocker that's a 2/2, and if this guy dies, we get to draw a card, so that's definitely good in that sense. 3 Nessus, Who Shakes the World, is a 5 cost Planeswalker. You've already probably seen it if you play a lot of Standard. It allows us to tap green mana for additional mana, which our deck only exclusively plays green mana. We can put 3 +1/+1 counters on target land. It's still a land. It has vigilance and haste, and so we can attack immediately even if it just came into play. And if we get to the -8, we can search our library for all basic land, all basic forest, add them to the battlefield, and then get all our lands now have indestructible, which is also very good. Then we got the Carnage Tyrant, which is a pretty interesting card here. There's some cards in our sideboard which actually utilize are very good with this card, just because this card is trample, has hexproof, so your opponent can't target with spells, and this spell can't be countered. So unless your opponent can interrupt it by playing something that pretty much like Aether Gust or something like that, they can't actually counter the spell. So this is going to come on the battlefield if they do play counter-centric deck. Next card up is Ugin the Enfeeble. It's, you know, all colorless spells cost 2 less to cast, making some of our spells free, making some of our spells cost 2, and then making our other Ugin cost actually 6 mana instead of 8. You can +1, we can exile the top card of our library face down, create a 2/2 color spirit. When the spirit token dies, when it comes in the battlefield, it actually gets one of our cards off the top of the library face down. We get that card back when that spirit dies. -3, destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So if our deck's playing, if we're not playing a colorless deck, it pretty much can -3 destroy target permanent of more than 1 color. So definitely good in that sense. Planar Celebration, like I said, we can use it for the proliferate. We can add some 2/2 soldier creature tokens. We can gain some life, or we can turn target permanent card from our graveyard to our hand. I would say really here we're using it for the permanent card from our graveyard to our hand, and or the proliferate, or maybe the gain life. The 2/2 citizen creatures are okay, but they're not really what we're trying to strive for in the deck. Then we got Ugin the Spirit Dragon. You've already seen Ugin, you know, +2 to deal 3 damage to any target, -X, which is very big. Pretty much can wipe out a board and pretty much set you up for victory. And if we get to the -10, we can draw 7 cards, gain 7 life, and then put up the 7 permanents from our hand onto the battlefield, which is pretty crazy. Then the Great Henge is a 1/of, just in case, you know, you want to get that additional card draw. And when we play a creature, it gets a +1/+1 counter. We can draw a card, we can tap it, add 2 life, which is great utility. And then we just got our lands here, just pretty straightforward. We got 24 is 1 Blast Zone, 2 Fields of Ruin, just because, you know, if anyone's playing like the Field of the Dead, we can kind of target that. And then we got Karn's Bastion for additional proliferate. Moving on to our wish board, we got some Terminate's Crypt, Grafdigger's Cage, we got Shadow Spear, Soul Guide Lantern, Blackblade Reforged, which is actually a pretty interesting card here. You would be like, why would you play that? Because as a equip cost of 7, we don't play any legendary creatures. But in the late game, if we have something like a Nissa out and we play that Tyrant dinosaur guy, you know, that now is a, you know, whatever lands we have plus it's trample and hexproof, so our opponent can't actually target it, and that, you know, it's gonna maybe swing for 15 damage. Definitely something our opponent can't really deal with unless they put a whole bunch of people in front of it. Sorcerer Spyglass, Sparkheart Mastercore, God Pharaoh Statue, Meteor Golems, Platinum Angels, and Stone Cold Serpent. You know, the typical stuff you would see maybe in a more aggressive style deck. But enough said, guys. Let's move on to some games, kind of see how it goes. Let's see. We'll play some ranked. I'm at like a bronze rank because I didn't like really play Arena at all in July ranked, because I just was kind of sick of the meta. So unfortunately, you know, it does all your rank down to for standard or whatever. If you don't play standard, you know, historic rank is the same. So we got kind of deducted. So let's kind of see how the games, what kind of decks we're gonna play against, and see how it goes. Our opponent's going first. I actually think our hand's okay. It's not great, but we have a ramp here, so as long as our opponent's not playing anything too aggressive, we'll be okay. They may be playing elves. That could be interesting here. We did not draw land or elf, so we are a little bit behind, but I mean, hopefully we can draw a 3-drop. Or, well, I mean, on turn 2 we're gonna be playing alright, so playing blue, green, white. So we're not playing maybe directly elves? We're considering now attacking. Maybe they're playing something with counters. Not really sure. They've frozen. They're now frozen. They can't decide. They're probably trying to figure out that, what am I playing? Green mana. Do I want to be aggressive? Do I want to sit back? That's, I guess, what they're going through in their head. I mean, they only have 2 mana available if they tap down the land or elf, but I mean, must be a very tough decision. Or our opponent already timed out, and yeah, this is definitely interesting. Alright, our opponent took until your next turn, creatures gain control, add 1 mana of any color. Interesting. So they played something to give their things the ability to add mana. So this is an interesting situation. I can't play Mind Stone and Llanowar Elf. Interesting. So I think we do this. I think this is the play, as weird as it is. I can play the Llanowar Elf, but I mean, either way. Alright, Healer's Hawk. Shalai. Interesting, so everything has hexproof now. So we'll play a Solemn, ramp up. Yes, we'll take the action, thin our deck out a little bit. We're definitely still in a weird predicament though, just because they have a way to get additional counters. Don't know why the Solemn got stuck on the board. So we may be definitely in a bad spot here. I am going to take out one of their elves, unless they can protect it. I'll get the card draw, because it's not going to do me any good. Oh, they also have an indestructible, don't they? Crap. That's not good. Alright, he unfortunately has to be a sacrifice here. Are you gonna get rid of my Mind Stone? You're not. You're gonna get aggressive. If we can last long enough, maybe we get the other Ugin and we wipe the board, because they're out of cards in their hand, so that's good. We are at 6, so that's not great. So yeah. All I can do here is do this, do that, destroy that, play a Llanowar Elf, and then hope for an Ugin next turn, because I'm not dead just yet. I'm at 6. I can block. I can block here, but I'm at 2. So, I mean, the hope is to draw a land and an Ugin. Mind Stone's not going to do it. Karn's not going to help in that sense. I really don't have anything that's going to directly deal with this board. Yeah, that's not definitely gonna do it. Gonna just do that. We're gonna give up. Just unfortunately, our opponent just drew very, very well. So we're just gonna concede there because not much we can do. Our opponent goes first. Our hand's okay. I mean, we have Nissa, which is really good. I mean, we have 2 copies of Nissa, but it looks like we're playing against Mono Blue Temple, which is not great. So that could be an issue. I mean, they're just gonna, yeah, Spectral Sailor. Next turn, they're probably gonna play some like Curiosity, more than likely. Or Sea-Dash Okay, not Sea-Dash Octopus. Interesting. Are they gonna counter my Mind Stone? It's only a Mind Stone. That's what I thought. Probably gonna play the other guy, Brineborn Cutthroat, more than likely. The only problem here is we gotta somehow get through their counters, which is kind of hard. Which, I mean, they're pretty much now set up for countering anything we play. So I guess we try Solemn, see what happens. They're probably gonna counter it just because, you know, they can get okay or not. Interesting. Yeah, I'll take the action. Maybe they have a bounce. Maybe the you know, Brazen Borrower here. Spectral Sailor. Okay. Maybe another flash card. Another Borrower? Nope, another Sailor. Interesting. interesting in that sense. I will block here. Now the hard part is, is there a way we can get our Nissa to stick? Because unfortunately that's gonna be the hard part. Drew another land, which is good. Nissa's still playable. You know, we don't really have anything that's gonna help us. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take a little bit of damage there, but I think getting rid of their Spectral Sailors is actually probably the play. I mean, they are probably sitting on a handful of counters, which is kind of the pain in the butt part, but fortunately there's not much we can do. I mean, we could just kind of see what happens. They're probably gonna counter this, which is fine. But this definitely puts us on a clock. They probably have another counter, which is the only problem here. But if they don't, I mean, that'd be great. I have 2 mana open. That's fine. I mean, it was my only hope, unfortunately. I don't have enough, I don't think, to pay it. GG's. I'll just make that into a 3/3, give it additional counters. You win it either way. I'm tapped out, dude. Can't understand, like, I wasn't doing anything that was gonna break it. He clearly won. No. We're on the play. We got a lot of ramp, which is okay, but we don't have a lot to do with it. I'm gonna keep, because why not? Just because we're on the draw, get stuff out before they do. I'm also still very unfamiliar with like the whole historic meta. Okay. That was a tough decision. Alright, so we draw and cultivate. Wait, we drew another land. So we have a lot of things to make a lot of mana. We just don't have anything to do with them. They're playing, it looks like, a lot of colors. Interesting. Interesting. So, Mind Stone, and I can still play Cultivate. So hopefully we can draw into stuff to do. That's the thing. Can we draw into things to play? It'd be nice to draw things that aren't land. I mean, worst case scenario, maybe we sacrifice a Mind Stone, which kind of slows us down a little bit. But we had a decent amount of ramp to get up there. All right, they're drawing cards. They're playing things to gain life. Got a land. That doesn't help me. That's another land. So we'll play this. We'll say go. I mean, worst case scenario, we'll throw one of these into the graveyard to hopefully get something. They didn't like their land that was on top. They are playing just tons of mana. I'm gonna draw a card, because why not? Hopefully it's not a land. Alright. Alright, deck. What are you doing to me here? Oh, it's not... Alright, I forgot Core Spiral's still a thing. Yes, but do you have more lands than I do is the real question. Because I have a lot of land. I have a lot of land. I mean, I guess next turn, if I wanted to, I guess I can make my Grazer into a 3/3 and start attacking. Are they ramping up to an Ugin? Because I'm curious. Is that their play? I mean, they are playing lands of different colors. Maybe they're looking for a Field of the Dead? Maybe that's the deck they're playing? Not really sure. Mastermind's acquisition. Choose a card you don't ask on the game and put in your hand. So they're going to their sideboard for something. Kind of curious. Thinking real hard about this. Probably like, what is this guy doing? He's only played a Grazer, Mind Stone, and sacrificed a Mind Stone, and a Cultivate. Yes, you're looking at your mana. You got it. You have a lot of mana, different colors. which I'm very surprised. They drew very well that they have this out, which then allows this to kind of like allows these lands to come into play not tapped. Like they drew this and this, which made this all better. Oh, they don't have to reveal it. Okay, interesting. Wow. All right, let's enchant our own creature. Awesome. Let's go to combat. All right, they don't have a counter, so that's good. Let's just get more mana because we just need more of it. Yes, take action. Okay. Did they get the card they need? I mean, I have 2 good cards, I think, for whatever they could play. If they have a Field of the Dead, I mean, I can play Field of Ruin. Blaststone doesn't really do too much if that's the case, but that really looks like they're going for here just because of the diverse amount of lands. I just don't know what they're trying to do, but it is a 5-color deck, which is pretty cool. Okay, my turn. Interesting. All right, I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but it's a lot of land. Chance for Glory. They're gonna combo? I'm confused. Maelstrom Pulse, they bottomed? Okay, so they have 2 turns to do whatever it is to kill me. So they have a way to copy the amount of damage they're gonna do to me. Because they put themselves on a clock. Because if they don't do it here, you can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost. Interesting. So you're on the hope that I don't draw my Ugin. Interesting. Kind of intrigued. I mean, it's interesting play, but he's got to do something to pretty much prevent me from drawing anything. He's drawing, tapping that, tapping that. Okay, tapping 1 of every color. Okay, he's making a lot of green now. So return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. So what are you just not gonna? You're just not gonna let me? I don't know what you're gonna do here. I mean, sure. You own a whole bunch of Chance of Glories. I don't like. What's the angle here? So you're gonna draw your deck. I guess they have a way to do more of this. So they play another one. I'm actually more so curious as to how this works, but I guess they have more Chance of Glories, or they have more of these. So a goal to draw a bunch of cards, maybe play something to like Oracle or something. All right, they have a way to like. I'm so confused. So they play something to pretty much allow them to not lose if they die. Like if like pretty much allows Chance of Glory to stay. So oh, so there's double Banefire, got it. Alright. I mean, it's an interesting combo. Takes a lot to set up. Alright, we're on the play. This has got to probably be like my worst hand, but I mean, after the last game, I just drew a whole crap ton of land. I mean, you know, it makes me like, I just got to go for more a little bit. I got to go for a little bit better of a hand. So we'll keep this one, and we'll throw the plain white on the bottom. I will play Grazer. I'll play a Forest. I can play Kenriths here, which is good. Oh, they're gonna play a Grazer. Interesting. Are they gonna play a Forest? No. Okay. Oh god, not another repeat of last game. I'm scared. Hold me. We're gonna do this, make our great. Okay, I'm feeling unsure about this game now. I mean, granted. Okay, our opponent didn't play an additional land, so we're good there. And we also drew something. So let's just keep on swinging. Maybe our opponent's just gonna chump block. I don't really know. That's fine. They can hit me for 1 now. But I do have a Carnage Tyrant, which is good here. Okay, they just passed turn. Block? I have a weird feeling our opponent may scoop because they didn't draw any land. We will Karn's Bash and get something for next turn. What do I want here? What would be good in this situation? I guess maybe Shadow Spear? We'll play it. Just so we can give Grazer Trample and Lifelink, because more life is always good life. They're gonna cycle. Interesting. Alright, they got their land. Got it. Nice. We did not draw land, so we are gonna cultivate. Get into green. Gonna put one of the green on the battlefield. Get one to our hand. Play additional mana. We'll go. Okay. I'm just trying to see if what they're trying to do here. We'll -2. We will get. I don't know. What's good in this situation? I guess Stone Coil. Maybe. But we'll do this with most our mana. Give this trample. Swing it for 4. Alright, we're gonna take 1 over the top. Gonna gain 4 life of that, which is good. End turn. We can take out our Karn, which is not the biggest of deals. Solemn, okay. That's fine. Resolve. That's 5 mana. Alright, got another forest. Maybe they're playing like also a Tron style deck, but multicolor, which would be interesting. I think I have 3 mana, that'd be 5. Yeah, that's fine. Play Green Henge here. Let's go to combat first. Sinks for attacks, blockers. They want to block and chump, draw a card, which is good for them, but I'm gonna gain 4 life, which is fine, I think. Resolve. I'll Stone Coil for 5, right? I feel like that's good. I'll draw a card in the process, which is good in that sense. All right, it's a Grazer, which is not the best, but we'll +1 here, Cement 0. 6/6 is not bad. We can then move. Okay, they got another Solemn, which I don't think is great for them. I'm gonna leave the spear on. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's not great. Oh, you know what? Can I do this? This is just mean, isn't it? Yeah, that's not nice, but that's fine. We've had some rough games, so it's good to get a victory. All right, so what do we got here? Our opponent goes first, but we have Land or Elf, 3 forests, and a Karn. I'm gonna keep, I guess. We got some ramp to get to Karn turn 3. All right, they are playing some multicolor, but I think we'll be okay. Not really sure just based on this color type, but they're playing Sultai, which I'm not too scared of. Yes, it's a Llanowar elf. It's a very nice elf. My favorite elf. Don't touch him. It's just, he's scared. All right, so let's play another Llanowar elf. If that's okay. Can I play also Grazer? Allow me to get another green into play. All right, so everything's good so far. So we're doing pretty good on mana. I mean, we technically can produce 5. Sure. I guess you would just wait. The thing is, if they didn't do it early enough, I have priority, so I would still float the mana regardless. So I'm very intrigued by that. The 2/2 flyer, whenever it deals combat damage to play, look at top 3 cards. Oh, that's fine. Because I have reach. Unless, see, I feel like that's they probably should have -4/-4 on whatchamacallit then. I'll do Stone Coil though. That's gonna be good. No attacks, because why would I want to attack into a 2/2? So they can give it, they make it bigger, right? You're going to combat. It has range. It has reach. And never mind. Well, and then we're gonna play Stone Coil for a mana of some sort. Or I could, I think Stone Coil is better here, just in the sense that it gives me additional protection. It definitely kills the thief and gives it as protection from the thief, so the thief can't kill it, I guess. All right, that's perfectly fine. I mean, I guess it's cool to lose some. How much do I have? I have 5? 5? So I have 5/5 Stone Coil with protection from multi. I think next turn we probably play Solemn. Unless we draw a land, then we play Ugin. Alright, so they got Maze Mine. I feel like that's very awkward for them. Another Thief, which definitely does nothing. Llanowar is okay, so we play Llanowar. I'm gonna hold back because I don't want the Thief to actually go off, so we're actually just gonna keep our blockers back. Because then when I play Ugin next turn, I'll be able to destroy one of them. So they don't really have much no attacks because they're just not gonna block. They're gonna dig for something. Maybe have a hold here at their upkeep or not. I didn't actually pay attention if they put it on top or bottom. Now I would just, oh, that's not. You shocked it. Oh, I guess that's a good play. You should have. Oh man, hopefully it's not a land. I feel like you should have scryed first there. We'll Field the Ruin, which I feel like is a bad time for them. Do I have to tap mana? It's 2. It's 2. Can I? No. We'll -3 here, just because I don't, just in case they figure out a way to kill that. I'll offer you the Solemn. That is what I'll offer you. All right, you're gonna draw a card. Got it. So that's what they saved it for. Was the Solemn? Okay. I was gonna say, is the Solemn scary enough for you to? I'm just trying to think of what our opponent's playing. It's playing like Sultai, but I don't really know what the big. No, that's Sultai. Yeah, the Sultai. There's just not a lot of green. All right, I can't get. I don't have any way to get Karn back anyway. Well, I do. I plan our White Celebration, don't I? I think on my next turn though, I think I'm gonna Field the Ruin unless I draw something better, because then I can get rid of their draw mechanic. They're scouring out their thing, trying to figure out if that's what they want. They're gonna bottom it. I guess it's not good enough. They're gonna draw the card. They have 3 mana open, so okay. They have that. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Was it 3? I mean, I'm not even mad, but I'm sorry. Alright, so in wrap up, I mean, overall, the deck played fairly well. I think there was a couple times where we flooded out, but I think in a deck like this, you need to run a little bit heavier in the lands, even if we do play a lot of ramp. I think overall I just made a couple tweaks to the deck list, so this is something that you'll kind of like see in the post game that you won't see in the games I made. I did see that Muffin did reach out to me and said, like, even in our conversation we had about the deck, that there's a couple changes he would make based on wild cards we have. So the one thing I did add that was in the list beforehand was we added Olamog here into the list. Olamog is a 10-drop, 10/10, indestructible when he casts the spell, exile 2 target permanents, so it's definitely good in that sense because you could exile 2 permanents your opponent controls, and whenever he attacks, defendant player exiles top 20 cards of your library. Combine this with the Ugin and the Infable. That's the other thing too. I actually upped the ante on a couple of these little bit more expensive cards just because I just feel like these are things we want to hit. I just feel like we were in certain situations where we wanted to hit like these higher tier planeswalkers that kind of help us just kind of finish out the game. Like I added up to 4 Ugins of the Spirit Dragon. I think in the beginning of the video I only had 2. I added up also additional Ugins of the Enfeeble just because I think it also had 2. Added additional Solemn, added additional Karn. I did drop the Tyrant, the Dinosaur, unfortunately, just because I just think these are things we want to hit. You know, we want to hit these big threats. And I just think like the Dinosaurs is a cool additive if you're playing more on a budget, but I think adding in something like, you know, more of these planeswalkers that kind of just help you search for things outside the sideboard or just make things cheaper or just pretty much wipe the board out are just additional things here. I did keep the Great Henge in here. I'm not 100% sure if this really fits now in the deck just because later in the game, you know, we're playing more planeswalkers. We're not really playing, you know, we're not really playing creatures, so that's one of those things. I mean, sure, it'd be great to have an Olamog with an additional +1/+1 counter on it and drawing a card off of it, but I don't really know if that's something that we're definitely going to be able to hit. You know, I added additional Nissa, I think, as well. I forget that. I also dropped I dropped off the Visionaries. I also dropped off I kept the Grazers, kept the Llanowars, kept the Mindstones where they're at. The one thing I would also say, maybe just it's monocolor, but maybe add in beacons, or even in the colorless 2-life mana. Those are some pretty new lands that I think are pretty sweet for the deck. Let's see if I can see them real quick. I mean, I know you want to hit your double green, but I think adding some additional colorless mana is not that bad. Mobilized districts could be a thing too, especially if you're going for more of like you want to protect your planeswalkers. Adding mobilized districts always good. I mean, Radiant Fountains is good because, you know, additional life's always good as well. You know, there's some things that I feel like we could also add. Ghost Coder here is a good way to maybe, instead of Field of Ruins, to play. I would say it's just one of those things that maybe you want to kind of like look around and kind of see as you know, what you may want to add or change or, you know, drop or whatever based on the matchups that you seem like you're finding. But overall, I think the deck is fun. It is something that I haven't seen really in the meta, so I do appreciate Muffin for giving me that list. If you guys want to like leave a comment or reach out to me, I think my socials are down below, so if you want to, you know, throw a deck list out to me, you can always reach me on one of those socials, maybe leave a comment, and then we can try to figure out how to communicate, you know, the deck list one way or another. But if you like this video, guys, hit that like button. If you want to know when I post more videos, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.